and I am joined by East Palestine football coach right off the bat, our first in-person interview since pre-COVID. So thank you so much, Tony Foster, for coming in and joining us in the studio.
Hey, no problem. My pleasure.
And it's your 9th season at East Palestine. And what's it like just kind of bringing some consistency to that program? And 9 years is a lot for coaches nowadays. You don't see a lot of coaches stick to programs you have at East Palestine. What's that mean to you to give that program some consistency?
Well, being an alumni, we would, even when I moved back to the area in 2008, I'd follow it, and we were doing well in basketball, and the football program was just struggling. And then I got on staff at South Range, and I don't know, not to be offensive, but it was embarrassing. I would be on staff there, and we would play them, and it would just it would be a blowout and no contest, and it was embarrassing. So I wanted to, when the opportunity presented itself, I wanted to take a chance to see if I could change that and make a difference, and try to bring some consistency. And again, that's what I told the panel in my interview, was that part of the problem was they had a revolving door of coaches, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to be here, and we built our house, and we were in our forever spot. So my family and I weren't going to go anywhere. So I wanted to bring some consistency with that, and see if we can make a difference.
Before we went on, we talked about how fast kind of time can really get away from you. You're my government teacher from my senior year. I mean, 10 years out of high school. And I remember you coming in halfway through my senior year to take over government, and 9 years with this program. Do you ever just take time to reflect on how fast time goes and how much you've really submitted in this program already, and then look in the future and see how much you can do with it?
Yeah, there's certain moments that, I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily plan to reflect, but every once in a while, some things jump up and just hit you, which make you think about. Just you this morning saying you had your 10-year reunion. I thought, man, that's crazy. I remember stepping in, filling the big shoes of Mr. Patton when he left, a legend at South Range with the social studies and teaching government, and his time was up. His retirement date came up in, I think it was in March. And it was funny. I still remember the day he left. He was talking to the classes, and I was standing there with him. And he said, yeah, I started here at South Range back in January of '76. And I kind of started to chuckle as I said, Dave, that's when I was born. So, time definitely flies by, but it's after every season you reflect on how things went, and things that you want to improve upon and change and need to change, and you reassess. You get together with the staff, and you talk about the direction of where we need to go, and how we need to change and alter things to get us where we want to be. So the last couple of years, we clearly wanted to make a different direction, and needed to change some things. And I think where our team is at right now in the season is, I think we're in a good spot. So that's good.
How did those off-season conversations go with your staff this year, talking about what direction you wanted to go this year, what some of the expectations were for this team this year, and what you had to do to kind of meet some of those goals?
Well, it was kind of funny because we the previous year we had gone to a clinic, and we knew that there was some change, and we looked at what we had coming up, and we had to make a decision on what type of offense we wanted to go with. And we left that clinic in Pittsburgh and we were all on the same page that we wanted to go to a wing T offense. That would be our best to bring in a young quarterback that we would be doing this year. And depending on how he progresses and who's there, for the long run, we can adapt out of the wing T into, more of a spread type of look. Or if we want to stick with, your traditional wing T, we could do that. So that's what we decided to go with. But then last year we started off the season and just some things didn't go right that we pulled the plug on it. We pulled the plug on it and we went more, I guess, power football, and we lined up to try to take advantage of the skill set that we had. We lined up Bastarkey, in the pistol and got as much lead blocking as we could in front of him, and we had some success with that towards the latter part of the season. But this year we've recommitted to the wing T, and we're really happy with the way it looks right now. But that's easy to say when you're not going against any competition yet. So, but I think we've made some adjustments, and we've fixed some things, modified some things that I think were causing us issues last year, which kind of caused us to go away from it. So we are recommitted to it, and we are excited with how the kids are picking up on things.
And we were talking to get off the air, but over the weekend, you had the kind of your first team bonding experience of the summer with the camp and getting the kids together for that camp. And what was that like, seeing almost everyone there, your numbers go up, and you're really getting them to bond and build that chemistry?
Oh yeah, it was. We started doing this several years ago, probably would have been the 2015 season. We went to a camp at Hiram, and that was our first time. I had done it when I had coached at Hilliard. We used to go to Denison and have a 3-day camp. And then even when I wasn't coaching there, I did a little stint with Canfield and went with Coach Pavlansky they went to Grove City College and did a 3-day camp. And, I think it's very beneficial to do those, but it was the first time in 2015 that we did it with the Bulldogs, and the kids had a great time, and we had some adversity. Guys still remember the times of, I told them there wasn't going to be any cell phones, and there ended up being, I got tipped off that there was a cell phone there from somebody on the volleyball team that was at a camp in Slippery Rock, saying that our accommodations there, the kids weren't real happy with it, and they said it's kind of hard to know without cell phones. Ha ha ha! And so I pulled all the kids down to the field, and I said, "All right." We were on a dorm way up at the top of the hill. I said, "We've got 3 minutes. You need to produce a cell phone by the time you come back in 3 minutes. Go." And they all took off running. But what they didn't know is that they had to get let into the dorm. So I had a coach posted up at the dorm to let them in. And they didn't see him. And they got up to the dorm, and they were arguing and bickering back and forth about who needed to turn in their cell phone. So he sends me a text and says, "Hey, Coach, there's at least 4 more than I know of." So when the kids got back down there, they produced one broken cell phone that wouldn't even work. So I said, that's nice. I appreciate you bringing this one down, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that there is at least 4 more cell phones. So you've got another 3 minutes. Go. And they had to sprint their butts all the way up to the top of the hill and get to the dorm. And in the end, I ended up with 8 cell phones from 7 different kids. One kid brought 2 just in case. Good stories, and we had some nice hills at Hiram that we went to, and we did some reminders about paying attention to details and following through with simple requests. And I said it was a simple request: no cell phones. 3 days, you'll survive. And yeah, they remember the hills really, really well. And yeah, you look back on them now and you laugh about the stories and you know, how it all happened and what went on. So, but that team definitely came out of there as a tighter unit, and that was the goal this year. But this year was a little different because none of the colleges were open for overnight stays or camps like that. So I went to the SMPJ in Eden Valley and Pennsylvania, and they were able to accommodate us for a similar price, maybe even a little bit lower than what the colleges were offering. So they provided us a nice facility and a field that was isolated and secluded, and there was absolutely nothing around. The kids had their own cabins that they shared with either 3 or 4 other players. And, you know, we had some pool time. We learned how to play some Bellini at the Bellini Arena. All right, that's the Slovenian name. I think I'm saying it right, for basically bocce. Right. All right, we were playing some bocce ball, playing some cornhole. They had some pool time. But they also had probably their most memorable parts are the 6 o'clock in the morning whistles that were waking them up, and we had some morning PT before breakfast at 8:30. So both Saturday and Sunday we had some early morning PT, and it was kind of nice, military style, and the kids, some of them didn't think they were going to survive, but lo and behold, they all did. So it's nice. It was a good time. A lot of learning experiences and teachable moments.
And now we go into the final week before your official practices start on August 2nd, and it's getting closer and closer to season. What kind of things are on your checklist of things you want to accomplish in the next couple of weeks with not just your practices, but your scrimmages and your things getting ready for the season?
Well, at this point, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can put in with your offense and your passing and your running, but you know, it all becomes real when the pads come on, and you know, you can go live with that. So this is just this week is another run through of let's try to polish up as much as we can what we have installed, and be prepared for when we get the pads on and we go live, so that the kids really don't have to think about it. They can play fast and be confident in what their responsibilities are. And, you know, so that's what we need to brush up this week. And, you know, as you get into the scrimmages, we've got a little different makeup on our coaching staff. So, we're going to practice with the headsets and everything, which we usually don't do on the first scrimmage, but we're going to put those on and practice our coaches have to practice their communication and how we're going to do things, communicating from the box to the sidelines and that type of stuff as well. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and you know, you don't necessarily get a whole lot of special teams work in the summer, but once the mandatory practices start and we get closer to, you know, that second scrimmage is essentially, we try to go pretty live on that. We got to make sure that we have people on the different special teams and ready to go out there, and at least a nice dress rehearsal for those.
And, you know, you said it, you know, this is a kind of a dress rehearsal and everything, but as you go into, you know, this season, what should the East Palestine fans really have expectations for this season? What should they look to see on the field? And what are some of your expectations for this team coming in?
You know, I expect there to be consistent improvement on our productivity offensively, and as well as our productivity defensively. I mean, there were times where we produced last year on the offensive side, I always go back to the Wellsville game in the first half. We controlled the ball for 21 of 24 minutes, and we were down 18-12 at halftime. So those are the types of things that can happen. Our defense cannot give up the home run ball, so to speak. The big plays have to be shut down. We've got to rally to the ball and survive to play another down. And if somebody's going to be scoring on us, we've got to make them be disciplined and be able to methodically make their way down the field without making mistakes. So we can't give them up in big chunks and let them off the hook on those. So that's what I would like to see. If you're looking at big picture, I want a winning record. All right, I want to be above 500, and the kids are ready for it too. So that's what we're looking for.
And you said it earlier. Last year, you started to really find production late in the season. You got a couple of wins with those extra games that you were allowed to play after the 6-game regular season. And I got to imagine with a program that you're trying to build and trying to get confidence in, celebrating small victories and celebrating everything that should be celebrated is so important. How much emphasis have you put on celebrating every little win that you guys have in the summer, in scrimmages, everything you guys do right, you're trying to celebrate to really build this team's confidence and really build their pride and their winning culture?
Well, it's a you look through the quotes. I think it was Vince Lombardi, winning is a habit, so is losing. So it's you can't just rebuild the program aspect. There's a mindset that goes along with it, and we had to do it the first time when we first started out. We started off with an 0-10 season, and I think at the end of each of those games, my message at in the end zone was, if you want to change this, it happens in the weight room. And week after week, it was the same message. It was consistent. We were in games, we were doing things well at the beginning of games, but by the end, we didn't have the strength and ability to hang in there. And the only way that we were going to change that was a dedication to strength and conditioning, and it was going to change in the weight room. So then it was a group of sophomores at the time that really bought into it and made the changes in the weight room and dedicated themselves, and they were able to produce the results. So they were sophomores during that 0-10 season. By their senior year, they had won a league title. So kind of a similar message. And fortunately, the guys that were in the weight room and the work that they put in this offseason, they've been more productive, and I've seen more gains out of them than probably that I've seen in the last 5 years. So it was just kind of a different atmosphere and a different energy that was in the weight room, and we celebrate those things, and then we like I said, teachable moments that we had in camp this summer. It's or this past weekend, we had we did a kind of an inter squad scrimmage, so to speak. I mean, it was 2-hand touch, but there's pass blocking going on. Just because we don't have shoulder pads doesn't mean that there's like zero contact. So we got after it, and the teams were split, and the one team felt like I could see it in their faces that kind of the teams were stacked against them, and it wasn't in their favor. But lo and behold, at the end of it, they had won 6-0. So even though they initially didn't have the confidence, they started making some plays and things happened for them, and their confidence grew, and it ended up, they were able to get the win. So we kind of emphasize that, it's a mindset, gentlemen. And one of my coaches actually brought up a Stanford prison study where it was a psychological experiment, social psychology experiment that basically it was a random assignment of either you were a prisoner or a prison guard. They'd flip a coin, heads your prisoner, tails your prison guard. And they got into it, and it was so they were so engulfed in their role that by the time it was supposed to be a 2-week experiment, after 1 week they had to shut it down because the prisoners were going to physically overthrow the prison guards. And it was the mentality and the role that they're playing got so ingrained in them. So we're kind of at that point, but now we're not randomly assigned. We can choose whether we want to be the prisoner or the prison guard. We can choose whether we want to be winners or just kind of go along and see what happens. And the guys, I think, are they're taking it in, and I'm hoping to see the results take place this season, quickly.
Let that be a lesson to coaches out there. You can get motivation from anything, even a Stanford prison psychology experiment.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be able to dig. One of the things I like to do with coaches is just have them talk about their staff. I don't think that your coaching staff gets enough credit, and I know that head coaches wouldn't be where they are without a good staff. So you said that a couple of new things in your staff. Talk about who you have this year and what kind of things they bring to East Palestine.
All right. Well, I've got Dan Kibler, who is also an alumni. He would have graduated in '95. He's been on staff here a few years now. I think this is maybe his 3rd or 4th year with me at East Palestine. Teaches chemistry and physics, and I think at East Palestine. But he's a science teacher. He recently moved from Kensington to East Palestine, and I think just this last spring is when he sold his house and he moved back into town. And great guy, high energy. I was at the 4th of July fireworks show at the park, and he's a volunteer fireman, and he thanked me for letting him be on the staff and being a part of it. And I said, Kibby, man, this is I would love to have guys come back and to town and be vested in the community. And he's not just involved in the school and in extracurriculars, but he does like the robotics program, and volunteer fire department spends his whole day on the 4th of July down there selling raffle tickets and helping out with that. I said this is a role model I want kids to see, somebody that's coming back and giving back to the community. I said, that's awesome. I said, I should be the one that's thanking you. So he's one. I've got John Uriauchi, who also an East Palestine alumni. He's been on staff since I started. He's been coaching our offensive line and helps with the defensive line as well. His son's coming up. His son and my daughter. I think the first sleepover my daughter had, it was with her son, his son. So they've been buddies since they've been tiny, and he's a freshman this year, and might end up being our quarterback. So so I talk about an extra incentive to produce effective offensive linemen. His son's going to be a quarterback, and that's who they're going to be protecting. So, I don't think he needs a whole lot more incentive to, make sure we produce great offensive linemen here. But no, he does a fantastic job. Brock Uriauchi, his brother, he's coaching with the defensive backs and the receivers. Does a good job. Long time I had him at the middle school level. but as some things changed there, I had some openings. He was interested in coming up and doing varsity. So this will be his second year coaching with the varsity level. And then I've got Travis Foster, my cousin, who graduated a year ahead of me. So he was also an East Palestine alumni. He helps out when he can, when his work schedule allows him to. And, he helps out with the linebackers and the running backs. And then I've got Mike Lloyd, who was on the 2015 team. He was actually the one that blocked the kick that South Range attempted at the end of the game.
The infamous kick.
Yes, the infamous kick.
Yeah.
So he's going to be,
depending what perspective you're in. For you, probably the famous kick.
Well,
for South Range alumni,
it worked out well for me. So he's on staff doing tight ends and helping with the defensive line. And then I've got Joe Alessi, who is he's running my offense this year. He's new to the staff, and he brings in kind of an aspect that we didn't have on our staff that we were sort of missing a little bit. He's got military background, and that's why the PT in the mornings over during camp.
The whistles to wake you up at 6 a.m.
Well, the whistles were me, but the falling in line and doing the chants and everything as they were starting off their runs, and some of those things were all of his military background, and he jumps in the lead, is very comfortable with doing that, and makes it fun and memorable for the kids. So yeah, that's my staff at the varsity level, and we had a good time over the weekend. It's not only a bonding experience going to camp for the kids, but it's also for the coaches also. And I felt like we worked really well together, and I'm looking forward to what we can do this season with them.
Before we let you go, who are going to be some of the leaders that you're going to lean on this year on the field?
I've got a senior group here that's they've been through a lot, and I think they're ready to go. They've done a nice job leading in the weight room and throughout the practices over the summer. J.D. McBride, he will be he's kind of the quarterback of my defense. He's going to be my free safety, and he's going to run that and make sure everybody's in the right spots. And then Tyler Bastarkey, he's not a real vocal leader, but the kid shows up and he's puts the work in and goes hard all the time. So that's nice. Tommy Shastine is also a senior. He'll be running fullback and strong safety. Does a real nice job. And we try to build the leaders. In the weight room, I pulled him aside one time and said, you just walked by a freshman that was finishing up with their squats. You gave him a fist bump and, told him good set. I said, it really meant nothing to you, but I said, it means the world to that freshman. And, so just little things like that, we try to point out and make sure that they're doing a good job. And there's another senior that came back out this year, Devin Dallies, who's really done a nice job as well. So those four right now are leaders that we're going to be relying on.
All right, Tony Foster, head coach of the East Palestine Bulldogs, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck in this season. I'm sure we'll hear from you a lot as the season goes on, and you've always been a friend of YSN. We thank you for the support, and we thank you for your time, and good luck in the 2021 season.